Hey everyone, this is Lori at the Land of Color and Camp Chroma. This video is to answer a question that Sandy had posted in our Facebook group. I had made a comment in another video that I use C-Lab values to adjust and search colors in Easy RGB, and that sometimes I would choose to use lab values instead of LCH hue angle, just because I could get more specific with my search. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. And just as a reminder, this is our C-Lab color space, and we have 3 channels that we can control: lightness, the B axis, and the A axis. B is blue to yellow, A is green to red. So this is the color space I'm working in and talking about. So when we go over here to Easy RGB, I'm going to start out with a color. Let's say that Repose Gray is the color that I found, and I like everything about it. I just wish it was warmer. So Repose Gray is in our info box, and I click on Convert because I want to get to its spectral data so I can jot this down. So I'm going to capture its lab values here, as you can see right here in blue. I'm going to write those down, and then I'm going to come back up here to match color data, and we are going to choose C-Lab. You could also at this point choose CLCH if you wanted to search by hue angle, but I want to adjust the redness to see if I can warm up Repose Gray just a little bit. So to start out, I'm going to enter the values for Repose Gray. Let's do the A channel, it's negative 0.290, and the B channel is 4.530. So I'm going to click on match. And of course, Repose Gray pops up in the first box because it's a perfect match. And so to adjust the red channel, if you recall, it's the A negative to A positive channel. I am going to just take away this negative for the A channel, and I'm going to, what that's going to do is it's going to move the color from the same spot on the green axis to the same spot on the red axis. So I'm going to move it from the spot on the green axis to pretty much the same place on the red axis. I'm just going to flip the red and green to warm it up and see what I get. And the first thing that pops up is Benjamin Moore's Wish. So I'm going to go take a look at its spectral data. And I wrote down, by the way, for Repose Gray that its hue angle was 93.6, and Wish's hue angle is 83.4. So when we plot that on a color wheel, we know that we did indeed move up from the yellow hue family towards the yellow-red hue family. So I pulled a chip of Wish, and I think I went too far in terms of redness and warmth. I really wish I could find something in between Wish and Repose Gray. So I'm going to start over. I'm going to go back to the C-Lab data type, and I'm going to re-enter the values for Repose Gray, and start over. Instead of adjusting the redness, I'm going to try adjusting yellow. And so this is my yellow channel. Again, here's the yellow channel, B, right, blue to yellow. So I'm going to increase the yellowness by 2. I'm going to make it 6.530 and see what I get. Okay, well the first result is Valspar. The second one's Kelly Moore. I don't want to pull out those fan decks. I'm just going to go with Sherwin-Williams Worldly Gray because I already have the fan deck out, and staying within the same collection just makes it easier. So I started with Repose Gray, I went to Wish, and it was too red, too orangey, too warm, and then I ended up with Worldly Gray, which looks just about right. It doesn't show with the same edge of greenness that Repose Gray does, but it's not as peachy warm as Wish either. And I'm going to show you on an infographic here how that actually plots out on a wheel. So here are the colors plotted out on the Color Strategist wheel. Repose Gray is the color that we started out with. And if you recall, the first thing I did was I changed the A channel from a negative to a positive, and the result that I got then on Easy RGB gave me Wish. And so we went from here on the color wheel up to here. So it was indeed a much warmer color. It wasn't quite as cool as Repose Gray. You can actually see where it ended up in terms of cool and warm. So this was a bit too far. It looked a bit too peachy of a gray, so I wanted to look for something in between. So I went back and I re-entered the lab values for Repose Gray, and instead of bumping up the redness, I chose to bump up the yellowness to see what that would get me. So I changed this to 6.5, and then the result that Easy RGB gave me in the Sherwin-Williams collection was Worldly Gray. And as you can see, it ended up right in between the two. Repose Gray, what I started out with, and Wish, which was my first result, and then Worldly Gray ended up in between the two at 91 degrees in terms of hue angle, and it was just perfect. So that's how you can use the various channels to adjust the appearance of a color. This is probably equivalent to, messing around with formulas, adding a little bit of this, a little bit of that to the can to try to shift and change the color. You can actually do it with your lab values. The question really was, well, why do you use lab values instead of LCH hue angle? And you can use either one. It's a matter of preference. It's really just a matter of what you get most comfortable and most proficient with. If you get proficient with lab values, you're able to make the adjustments in more detail. As just like I did here, I was able to search and adjust the color based on redness and yellowness, as opposed to just a broader search, which would have been just changing the hue angle. I could have just searched using the hue angle and gone from 93, taken it down by 10, and gotten to 83 degrees and ended up with Wish. Getting to Worldly Gray using hue angle would have been a little more clumsy. I don't know if I could have drilled in as specific and as quickly as I did to find a color between Wish and Repose Gray. This method, searching on C lab values, is definitely an advanced skill set. It's something that you get better at the more you do it. So, and the more proficient you are, then the more options you have as far as finding the color that you're looking for out of the collections available on Easy RGB. And the thing to keep in mind, it's good to know how to search, find the color, and adjust the color that you're looking for using lab values and LCH values, because we do have a limited library, right? Searching on lab values doesn't always work out so well because the colors just aren't there. So you have to default to, well, let me try searching using LCH and hue angle and see if I get better results or if I can get any results. Because like I said, sometimes the colors just aren't there to find. So it's good to know at least two ways to search for them. So that's all there was to my comment about using C-Lab instead of LCH. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks for watching, everyone.